Everything is difficult. Help me help you. Girl, what you trying to do? Cause I don't got a clue.
Hey, what's up guys? It is Neon here, and today I will be showing you how I play and build my lovely Nox. A lot of people have been asking me on how I play her, how I build her. So I decided, instead of trying to reply to all your guys' DMs and to explain to you how I do, I figured it would be easier just to make a video. I also, if you guys do want to know how I build other gods, you can go ahead and comment the name of the god in the comments, and I will try to make, I guess, my tutorial video for it. Certain gods, I will say, like right now, if you ask me like how to build like Ah Kwang and play him, I have no idea. I would totally give you the wrong advice and I would screw you over. So to start off with, her 1 and her 2, you know, her dome and then her grab, I upgrade those two as much as possible. And then her 3, I throw the point in it. I'll throw a point in here and there, but your 1 and 2, you want to focus the most. And then I basically upgrade her ult every time it's available for an upgrade. And then, to start with items, this is my build for her, except for Book of the Dead. I updated my build a while ago, and then I didn't like it, and I still need to change it back. So, just for starters, when I do show you guys how I build certain gods, don't pause the video and go off like the build that's on the screen, because 90% of the time it's not going to be the actual build I am discussing. So I build, instead of Book of the Dead, I build Spear of Desolation. And I don't build Soul Reaver on her just because if I'm feeling like I'm having a really good, not necessarily a good game, but let's say I'm not hitting a lot of my combos, alright? But I am getting a lot of nice ult kills. So I will build Soul Reaver just to get that proc on my ult if I'm noticing that game I'm ulting a lot, and that's how I'm getting the majority of my kills. But mostly for my last item, I just kind of throw in whatever, and lately I've been playing around with Bancrofts. I haven't actually found an item set in stone that I want to throw in there. If you guys have any recommendations, I will try it. I never build Polly on her though. Polly, this is the one item that you can build on her as if it's like a really good game. Like the enemy team can't really do anything to you, and you can dash up and get that one basic attack off. Otherwise, Polly is, in my opinion, just trash for her. Because you have that range, and it's not like, for example, like Polly's good on Scylla, because when Scylla roots and throws her crush on someone, she could still basic attack them. But with Nox, when she grabs someone, she can't do any basic attacks. She can just only move around. So you're better off getting your damage somewhere else instead of Polynomicon. So the other thing I also do, as I've realized a lot of people have troubles with comboing. And comboing, it is pretty hard at first, but here's my one thing. Do not play with like a Kumbhakarna or someone who has a lot of CC to help you combo. Because it's not going to teach you how to combo, it's not going to help you learn. If you want to learn how to combo with Nox, you need to just start straight from the get-go by yourself and figure it out. Because still, I see a lot of rank 10 Noxes who play with like Kumbhakarnas who cannot land a single combo without their CC person. And you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that person that has to rely on another god in order to cast your abilities. Because when you become dependable on one of your teammates, you're going to become one of the weakest chains in the link. If you and that teammate don't have enough communication, you're not going to be able to do anything. So it is much better excuse me, to just start from the get-go and figure out comboing by yourself. That's what I did. I didn't have the Kumbrakarna playing with me to help me learn how to combo or anything. It took me, I would say approximate, I cannot English, I'm just not going to say the word. It took me about, I would say, until I got her to mastery 3 or 4 is when I started to land almost every single one of my combos. It's really not that hard to learn. It just takes adjustment to how fast her combo is, and it's also a part of predicting people. You need to be able to predict where the enemy is moving to, so you can actually land a combo on them. Now, the one thing I do have to say is if they're juking you really hard, don't feel bad if you miss a combo, because I miss those. I've been juked so hard trying to combo someone, and there's nothing I can do. We'll talk about the easiest combos. One of the easiest combos is, for example, Odin. Right here in this corner. You see if I place my dome, if I place it here, he can't go out this way to avoid the dome. He couldn't go out this way. He could only go this way, or he could go this way. So if you can manage to trap them in a corner, you have a higher chance of landing a combo on them, because you know they're only going to go one of 2 directions instead of, one of like a whole 360 angle. Another thing about comboing too is before you try to combo someone, what I normally do is I kind of evaluate how they're moving around. If they seem like a person that's kind of like all over the place, like this, for example, like, making it almost impossible to predict, I kind of try to wait until they manage to slip up and stop trying to avoid it. Or if it's just them, I'll just risk it. I'll dash into them and then I'll try to combo them. Because if someone's moving like crazy like this, if you could dash up and get like right next to them and then you combo, it's a lot easier. And when someone's that close to you trying to combo you, it's a lot harder to avoid. The other thing is also, while you're sitting there and evaluating how they're moving, once you know and you could tell how they're moving, like for example, let's say, like the person, like this is your enemy, I'm your enemy, and they're just kind of moving back and forth like this, they're not really moving too much, they're just kind of like, they're moving around a lot, but they're standing in one spot, they're staying in the general area of the dome. Go ahead and pop it on and then combo on them. So it just takes a lot of practice and knowing how to predict people in order to land the perfect combo. The next thing I want to talk about is how Nox is actually a really good team player. And a lot of people don't realize this. I actually didn't realize this when I first started playing her. I was still somewhat of a noob. But she has so many ways that she could save her teammates and herself. Now, for example, this Raw. Let's have him chase me. And let's say he's chasing me and I'm super low health, alright? I can root him and I can run away, which is pretty good for like ADC characters. But let's say I'm going against another Nox, alright? Just rooting them and trying to get away, it necessarily doesn't work, especially if they have beads. Like, it will work, but if they have beads and they have some way to get around your root, if they are like a burst mage, this is what you should do. For example, like if you have a Loki chasing you and he's right behind you, drop that silence on him so he can't go invisible to increase his movement speed. The same thing goes for like Nox, for example. If someone has a dash and they're gonna dash to you to try to kill you, drop that right like behind them. For example, like see, you want to drop it when they're chasing you right behind them, so they still have a lot of dome to walk through. You don't want to drop it in the middle and you don't want to drop it too far back. You want to drop it so they actually can't use any of their abilities to catch up and it gives you more time. You could also combo those two as well. If, like, for example, let's say you rooted them, but they're still chasing you, and you're afraid they're going to catch up, drop the dome and keep running. And she could do the same thing for her teammates too. For example, when one of my teammates are getting chain rooted, like let's say this Odin is just chain rooted right now with like an Artemis ult, a Ganesha stun, an Artemis trap, just stunned to the just craziness, and he doesn't have beads up or anything. To help him to prevent them from following up, and this at least helps with non-ADCs, people that don't have a lot of basic attack damage, you could drop the silence over the people that are collapsing on him. So they can't really follow up, they have to rely on their basic attacks, and he has a higher chance of escaping. And you could do the same thing, not for a team fight, but for example, if one of your teammates is super low and they're running away from Raw, if you're near them, go ahead and, you know, throw your grab at them. Don't let your teammate get away. Help them get to safety. The next thing I want to talk about is Nox's dash. Now, I basically saved Nox's dash as an escape, but it also did quite a bit of damage. The one thing I see a lot of Noxes do, and you do not want to do this, you do not want to initiate with your dash. Because if there's a whole team that you just dashed into, and they collapse on you, you have no escape. You are screwed. So, the only time I ever dash to initiate is if it's one person, and they're trying to escape. I'll dash, grab, and then they'll die.
What did you do to him?
Her dash you always want to save as an escape, but there are times if you're not getting collapsed on and you don't feel like you'll need your dash as an escape. I'm not going to do my combo on Raw because it just kills him instantly. But let's say you did your combo on Raw and he's pretty low, but he's too far and you're not able to hit any basics on him, alright? Like let's say he's just juking really hard and you just can't hit a basic on him. This is where you can just dash. A lot of people, I don't know why, they love to spam Nox's dash to avoid everything. It's okay if you get hit with a little damage. You don't need to avoid every single ability. Like, when Raw throws his beam on me like that, I'm not going to dash out of it right away because I'm already taking a damage from it. And it doesn't do that much damage. There's no reason to dash out of it. It's much better to just save your dash for a time that you actually need it. So don't worry about the little petty damage people are going to do to you. You want to save it for when you actually need it. And that's the one mistake a lot of people make, is just using her dash basically whenever it's up to initiate, to go in and just try to kill people, try to avoid abilities when the abilities aren't really going to do much to them. For example, like, the only time you should avoid abilities is if it's a whole team that's coming and it's going to collapse on you, and if you get hit by that ability that you need to avoid it. Otherwise, you're fine. You don't need to avoid it. For example, like in Joust, let's say you're playing Nox, and you're only like level 4. Okay. I actually will say like level 5. And Chalk goes and throws his axe at you, okay? You don't really need a dash out of that. Try to get out of it, but don't spam dash it. Because if you're out in the open, and he throws that ability at you, and then you dash away, and then he teleports to that, but you're still not completely out of his range, and then he slows you, you're screwed, and you don't have your dash to escape. So, the one rule is do not spam the Nox dash. The next thing is her ultimate. Her ultimate is pretty easy, and it is honestly one of the most satisfying ults in my opinion.
Like summertime.
I literally I love threading her ult. I love just, I don't know, I deleted all the old videos on my computer, but I've literally had videos where I've been, here, let me get the ult up again so that I can line it up just right. But I've literally had videos where, for example, like let's say if my range from my ult was all the way to Rob. I know it's not, but let's just say it is. Okay, let's say the enemy is there. I've had games where I've literally been like next to a wall like this, and there's been enemies just clustered all over in here. Like they're just everywhere. And there's this just slight gap in the middle. I've been able to manage to thread her ult through that and still hit them. And when you do that, it is like the best feeling ever. Because her ult, you know, it doesn't just go through like, you know, it's not like Ra's ult. It doesn't go through everything in its path. So, the one thing about Nox's ult is keep in mind her ult explodes on impact or when it gets out of range. Like see, max range, it will just explode. So remember that when you're trying to hit someone, and let's say you got a pretty low health Nox and this Buster, like this cluster of enemies, but there's people in the way. Remember that it bursts on impact, and if she's low enough, she'll get hit with that blast and have to deal with the damage over time, and it might even kill them. The other thing is too, is remember it bursts on impact. If she's close to a wall, if you have her traps up next to a wall, she has one or two ways she can go. And if you can line it up just right, throw it at the wall, and even if it's off, the explosion is so big it will take her out. So see, like her ult, the ult only hit here by the statue, but when it exploded, it cleared out this whole area. So you also want to play around with your surroundings as well, and that's basically how you play Nox, is just pay attention to your surroundings and try to take advantage of people that are in a poor situation. For like, you know, the Odin that's standing too close to a corner makes a very easy route. And same thing for like an ult too. And the one thing I have to say as well, don't be afraid to ult with Nox. Alright? Like, I know her ult reduces damage, but I don't use her ult when the whole team is collapsing on me to reduce their damage, because it's probably just gonna waste my ult. I will probably die anyways. The only time I use her ult is when, obviously, when I see a kill like a secure, I snipe it. But if, for example, let's say their warrior is tanking your tower, but he's took a lot of tower damage, and a couple of them are low, I also will ult to defend towers and phoenixes. But you want to wait and hold on to your ult until they get low, because if they get below half health and you ult, they'll get scared and they'll retreat. If you ult on them as soon as they start attacking your tower and they're full health, they're not going to give a shit. They'll just keep going. They're like, oh, you ulted me? That's cute. And they're going to keep going. I never realized that was broken. So a lot of her stuff is timing. But I hope you guys enjoy my Nox tutorial. If you have any questions, ask them in the description below. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anything. Oh, I am actually forgetting something. Relics. Just because I'm really cheeky, I buy Blink on her. Just in case if my dash doesn't get me far away enough, but it gets me far away enough that I have that 2-second cooldown on my Blink to be over, so I can blink away and get to safety. But basically with her, just build whatever, like, her relics are more situational. Like, if there's an Odin, buy Phantom. If there's an Ares, buy Beads. If you don't really need any of that, buy Bracer like Sanctuary. But anyways, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. leave a comment of what you think or if you have any questions. And also, I want to hear from you guys who I should do the next how to build video, I guess. And I will respond saying whether if I'm comfortable with it or if I'll be like, hell no. Like, if you tell me Akwong just right now, like, I'm not doing that. I am the most trash Akwong. Now, I guess I will make a proposition. If some of you, I know because a couple of you have been teasing me about how bad I am with Akwong, and you want to see how bad I actually am because you don't believe me. If you could recommend me to your friends and we reach 100 subscribers, okay, that's not a lot, that's not too much. Right now we're at 46, and if at least every single one of you recommend me to at least one or two of your friends, we will be there in no time. I guess I will play Akwong even though it literally gives me cancer every time. And I piss a lot of people off in the game. So, I will see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you haven't, go ahead and watch my older videos if you want to learn a little bit about me. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at SmiteBabes, the same as YouTube, basically. And if you are ever looking for anyone to play with, feel free to join our Discord. The link is in one of my videos. It was the hacker video. If you go in the description in there, the link to my Discord is in there, and we'd be glad to have you. Anyways, peace out, babes.